Students, in the previous session, we studied about different types of colloids and their classification. In this session, we are going to study the preparation and properties of colloids. Preparation of colloids. Colloids can be prepared by two methods, condensation method and dispersion method. Condensation methods are in which the particles of atomic size are condensed to form particles of colloidal size, whereas in dispersion method, large particles of the substance are broken into particles having colloidal size. Condensation method. There are two types of condensation methods are there. One is chemical method and second is physical method. There are four types of chemical methods and two types of physical methods. Four different types of chemical methods are oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis and double decomposition. In the oxidation method, the colloidal solution of sulfur is obtained by passing H2S gas through an oxidizing agent like bromine water or nitric acid. In reduction method, salts of metals are prepared by reduction of their salts with reducing agents like formaldehyde, phenylhydrazine or stannous chloride. Example, gold salt can be obtained by reducing auric chloride solution with the stannous chloride. Hydrolysis, a colloidal solution of ferric hydroxide, is obtained when concentrated solution of ferric chloride is added dropwise to hot water. Here, ferric chloride is hydrolyzed to ferric hydroxide solution, which is colloidal in nature. Double decomposition, colloidal solution of arsenic sulfide is obtained by passing H2S gas through dilute solution of arsenous oxide in water. There are two types of physical methods for the preparation of colloids. One is by exchange of solvents, second is by excessive cooling. In the exchange of solvent, the true solution of a substance can be converted into colloidal solution by adding another solvent in which the substance is less soluble. Example, when dilute alcoholic solution of sulfur is poured into excess of water, a colloidal solution of sulfur is obtained. Whereas in the case of excessive cooling type method of preparation of colloids, the colloidal solution of ice in some organic solvents such as chloroform or ether can be prepared by freezing a mixture of water and that organic solvent. These are the chemical and physical methods involved in condensation technique. There are three methods in the dispersion method of preparation of colloids. In the dispersion method, large particles of a substance are broken into particles having colloidal size. First one is mechanical dispersion. Here, the substance whose sol is to be prepared is powdered and mixed with a dispersion medium to get a suspension. It is then fed into a colloidal mill which consists of two metallic discs nearly touching each other and rotating in opposite direction at a very high speed. As a result, the suspension is converted into colloidal solution. Second type of dispersion method is electrical disintegration or Bradix arc method. This technique is very useful for the preparation of salts of metals like gold, silver, platinum, etc. In this process, two electrodes of the metal whose colloidal solution is to be prepared are dipped in the dispersion medium such as water. The dispersion medium is kept cooled by surrounding it with ice, which is shown in the figure. An electric arc is struck between the two electrodes. The intense heat of the arc converts the metal into its vapors. These vapors are condensed into sol by the ice cold water surrounding it. The sol is stabilized by adding trace of sodium hydroxide or potassium carbonate. The third type of dispersion method is peptization. Peptization is the conversion of freshly prepared precipitate into a colloidal solution by the addition of small amount of suitable electrolyte. The electrolyte which is used for this purpose is called the peptizing agent. For example, by the addition of a few drops of ferric chloride to freshly formed precipitate of ferric hydroxide, a reddish brown colored sol of ferric hydroxide is formed. This involves the preferential adsorption of suitable ions from the electrolyte on the particles of the precipitate. Here we see that Fe3 plus ions are adsorbed on the surface of the freshly prepared precipitate of ferric hydroxide, giving a positively charged colloid. Purification of colloidal solutions. Colloidal solutions prepared by condensation as well as dispersion methods contain many impurities of electrolytes and other soluble substances. Therefore, the purification of colloids involves mainly the removal of these excess amount of electrolytes. There are mainly four methods we studied in this chapter under purification. They are dialysis, electrodialysis, ultrafiltration, and ultracentrifugation. The first method of purification of colloidal solution is dialysis. This method is used to separate the impurities from the colloidal solution, and it is based on the fact that colloidal particles are retained by a semi-permeable membrane like parchment paper or cellophane membrane, while the ions of the electrolyte can pass through it. Here, the impure colloidal solution is taken in a parchment bag and placed in a vessel containing running water. The impurities slowly diffuse out of the bag, leaving behind pure colloidal dispersion. The ordinary dialysis can be sped up by the application of electric field if the substance is an electrolyte. This process is called electrodialysis. In this process, the impure colloidal solution is placed between two dialysing membranes, while pure water is placed in the outer compartment surrounding the colloidal solution. On passing electric current, the ionic impurities migrate out of the colloidal solution, that is, cations migrate towards cathode and anions migrate towards anode. For effective separation, a continuous supply of water should be maintained. Ultrafiltration. It is the process of removing impurities from the colloidal solution by passing it through graded filter papers called ultrafilters. Here, the pore size of ordinary filter paper is reduced by impregnating the filter paper with colloidal particles like collodion. The filter papers thus obtained are called ultrafilters. The ultrafilters will allow ions and other soluble impurities to pass through while it retains the colloidal particles. Ultracentrifugation. Centrifugation is the process used to separate or concentrate materials suspended in a liquid medium. The theoretical basis of this technique is the effect of gravity on particles in suspension. Two particles of different masses will settle in a tube at different rates in response to gravity. In the case of ultracentrifugation, the colloidal sol is taken in a tube which is placed in an ultracentrifuge, which is shown in the figure. On rotation of the tube at high speed, the colloidal particles settle down at the bottom of the tube and the impurities remain in the solution called centrifugate. The settled colloidal particles are mixed with the appropriate dispersion medium so as to regenerate the zone. Properties of colloidal solutions. There are mainly four types of properties for colloidal solution. First one is general properties, then kinetic properties, optical properties, and electrical properties. General properties of colloids. There are mainly four types of properties: heterogeneity, non-settling property, filterability, and colligative properties. About heterogeneity, the colloidal particles consist of two phases, namely dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Therefore, it is heterogeneous in nature. Second is non-settling nature. Colloidal systems are quite stable and they are suspended particles which remain suspended indefinitely. About filterability, the colloidal particles are readily passed through ordinary filter paper, but ultrafilter papers are used for the separation of dispersed phase from the dispersion medium. Colligative properties. The colloidal systems, like true solutions, show colligative properties like osmotic pressure, lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, and depression in freezing point. Colloidal particles are aggregates of molecules. The number of particles in the colloidal solution is comparatively small. There are mainly two types of kinetic properties. One is Brownian moment and second is diffusibility. Brownian movement is the continuous rapid zigzag movement of the colloidal particles in the dispersion medium. It is due to the bombardment of colloidal particles by molecules of the dispersion medium. At any instant, the particles of the dispersed phase are being collided with the particles of the dispersion medium. Determination of Avogadro number by Brownian moment, Perrin's method. According to Perrin, the particles in a colloidal system behaves just like gas molecules. When we consider the gas molecules enclosed in a cylinder, they are distributed randomly and consequently there will be more molecules at the lower position than at the higher position. Due to the difference in gravitational force, the potential energy of the molecules at heights h1 and h2 will be different. Potential energy is calculated as mgh, where h is the height of the molecule. Therefore, the difference in potential energy is equal to mg into h2 minus h1 as shown in equation 1. M is the mass of the molecule. Therefore, the difference in potential energy is equal to per mole is equal to E which is equal to m n g h2 minus h1 where n is the Avogadro number. If N1 and N2 are the number of molecules in a given volume at energy states 1 and 2, and capital E is the difference in potential energy per mole, then according to Boltzmann, the vertical distribution of gas molecule N2 by N1 is equal to E raised to minus E by RT, according to which is shown in equation 3. The capital E is the energy of the molecule, energy difference, potential difference. Substitute the value of capital E from equation 2 in equation number 3. We get ln n1 by n2 is equal to n mg h2 minus h1 by RT, which is shown in equation 5. By considering the buoyancy of the particle in the medium, which is 1 minus d dash by d, where small d is the density of the particle and d dash is that of the density of the medium. The equation becomes ln n1 by n2 is equal to capital N mg h2 minus h1 by RT into 1 minus d dash by d as in equation 6. By substituting the value of volume is equal to mass by density and the volume of the spherical particle having radius r, v is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, 4 by 3 pi r cube. We get the value of Avogadro number, which is shown in the next slide. By considering the volume of the spherical particle having radius r, V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cubed. Then RT by N, Ln N1 by N2 is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube G H2 minus H1 D minus D dash. By knowing the values of D, D dash, R and the ratio of the particles N1 by N2, Avogadro's number can be calculated. The next property is diffusibility. The colloidal particles consist of dispersed phase, which do not readily diffuse through the parchment paper or any other membrane. This is known as diffusibility of colloidal particles. There are mainly two optical properties for the colloids we studied in this chapter. They are Tyndall effect and visibility. Tyndall effect, it is the phenomenon of scattering of light by colloidal particles, and the illuminated path is called Tyndall cone. This figure shows when light source is passed through a solution, a colloid and a suspension, we can see the path of the light rays only in colloid and suspension, because the light readily passes through the true solution, whereas the particles in the colloid and suspension are of bigger size. They will scatter light and we can see their path. Visibility. When a beam of light is allowed to pass through a soul, the scattered beam is viewed through a microscope placed at right angles to the incident beam. The arrangement obtained is called ultra microscope. Our eye pictures various spots of light surrounding the particles. Here, we do not see the actual particles but only see the light scattered by them. The electrical properties of colloids. The colloidal particles carry either positive or negative charge, and all particles in a given soul carry the same charge, whereas the dispersion medium has an equal and opposite charge of the system. Therefore, the system as a whole is electrically neutral. The presence of same charge on colloidal particles is mainly responsible for the stability of the colloidal system, because the mutual force of repulsion between the same charge on the particles prevent them from coagulation. The electrical charge may be mainly due to three reasons. First one is preferential adsorption of ions. Second is due to dissociation of surface molecules. And the third case is due to the presence of acidic or basic groups. Preferential adsorption of ions. The charge on colloidal particles is resulting from the preferential adsorption of either positive or negative ion on the surface of the molecule from the medium in which they are prepared. For example, in the case of the preparation of ferric hydroxide salt, the preferential adsorption of Fe3 plus ions on the surface of the particles of ferric hydroxide take place, which is shown in the first figure. The ferric ions come from the ionization of ferric hydroxide, traces of which is always present in the salt. The negative charge on arsenic sulfide salt is because of the preferential adsorption of sulfide ions on the surface of arsenic sulfide particles. The sulfide ions are furnished by the ionization of hydrogen sulfide, which is present in traces, which is also shown in the diagram. It is not necessary that a particle in a colloidal salt is always carry the same kind of charge or which absorb same ions on its surface. They may absorb anions or cations whichever are in excess and acquire the corresponding charge. For example, in silver chloride salt produced by the addition of silver nitrate solution to sodium chloride solution, which bears a positive charge, when Ag plus ions, that is silver ions, are in excess. On the other hand, when chloride ions are in excess, the silver chloride salt particles acquire the negative charge, which is shown in the figure. Another reason for the charge of the colloidal particle is due to the dissociation of surface molecules. In the case of soap, the charge on the particle is due to ionization of the molecule. For example, an aqueous solution of sodium palmitate will carry the negative charge due to the dissociation of palmitate ions. Another reason for the charge of the colloidal particles is due to the presence of acidic and basic groups. In the case of amino acids, proteins, polypeptides, etc., the charge can be explained due to the presence of acidic or basic groups. In acid solution, the charge is due to the protonation of the basic group. Similarly, in a basic solution, it is due to the ionization of the acidic group. The charge in these cases is a function of pH of the medium. But at an intermediate pH, the particles will be electrically neutral. The pH at which the particles will exist as uncharged molecule is called isoelectric point. Electrical double layer and zeta potential. If a colloidal particle has a preference to adsorb positive ions, a layer of positive ions will be formed around it. The ions preferably adsorbed on the surface of the colloidal particles are called potential determining ions. The positive layer of potential determining ions will attract the negative ions from the medium, which form a second layer of negative charges. The ions present in the second layer are called counter ions. The combination of the two layers, that is, the first is positive layer and the second negative layer surrounding the salt particle, is called Helmholtz double layer. The double layer consists of two layers, that is compact layer and a diffuse layer. Compact layer is the positive and negative charges which are fixed firmly on the surface of the colloidal particle, whereas the diffuse layer is the negative ion or counter ion diffused into the medium of positive ions. The combination of the compact and double layer, compact and diffuse layer, is called Stern double layer. The diffused layer is only loosely attached to the surface of the colloidal particle, and as a result, it can move in the opposite direction when we apply electric field. Due to the distribution of the charge around the particle, there will be a potential difference between the compact layer and the bulk of the solution. This difference in potential is known as zeta potential or electrokinetic potential. These are all about today's portion. Thank you.